Welcome to the Cougar Cast here at the Kokomo Post Sports. I'm your host, Jay Stevens, and this is a place to get all the information on what's going on inside the athletic department at IU Kokomo. And joining us once again, he is one of the two assistant ADs at IUK. It's my guy, Grant Patterson. We have a little special prop on the desk as well because IUK athletics, there's a lot going on, and baseball season recently started.
Yeah, baseball season's underway, and just overall, it's a great time to be a Cougar. A lot of good things happening in our athletic department.
A lot of good things happening in the athletic department is a great way to describe some things that happened over the weekend with the track and field team. We've talked about numerous athletes previously that punched their ticket to the national meet. And over the weekend, a few more athletes also punched their ticket to compete in the indoor national meet down to the southern portion of the country.
Yeah, it was another amazing weekend for our indoor track and field squad. Second straight weekend, we've taken 3 of 4 River States Conference Indoor Track and Field Player of the Week. So we swept the women's this week and took 1 of 2 in the men's side. Awesome job there. Evan Gaylor, I think you could argue that he should have won the indoor field award on the men's side. Jacob Bumgardner won it on the men's indoor track. Sydney Duncan wins indoor field, and Maddie Dotlich wins indoor track. So dominant performance by those 3. Really, those 4, like I said, Evan Gaylor, I think was shorted in my opinion. But moving on from there. And then I think we had five standards hit this weekend, make it 6 standards hit by 5 different people in 5 different events. So you, on the women's side of things, Sydney Duncan, talk about her every week. Got to talk about her again this week. She already had punched her ticket and shot put to indoor nationals in Gainesville here coming up at the end of this month. And Saturday, we knew it was a matter of time.
Yeah.
I mean, Jay, we had talked about it before. She had been right there, I think 0.14 meters away from punching her ticket in weight throw 2 weekends ago. So not a surprise to see her do it this past weekend. I think she finished 3rd of 34 competitors at IWU. Anytime you're competing at Indiana Wesleyan, you're competing against high-level competition. So Sydney's now competing in shot put and weight throw at indoor nationals this fall, and chance to All-American in 2 events. I would have to guess that would be the first time in program history that we could have an All-American in 2 events in the same season, whether it be indoor or outdoor. Grant Gaylor may have done it on the men's side, considering he was a national champion. But moving on the women's side, Maddie Dotlich, she had already punched her ticket in the race walk, but she hit another B standard and improved her time. She moved up to seated 8th in the nation. So that's All-American status right there. I believe top 8 in the nation earn All-American status. So if she finishes 8th or better at indoor nationals, she'll earn that. And then moving on to the men's side. Man, it was a busy weekend for Josh Colvin traveling with. He took race walkers and 4x800 relay teams to Olivet Nazarene on Friday. That's over in Illinois and Bourbonnois, where they competed 2 weekends ago. Yeah. And then Saturday they returned back around home and competed over in Marion and Indiana Wesleyan. So the race walkers had success, as we touched on with Dotlich. Same thing on the men's side. Jacob Bumgardner, he's a freshman out of Northwestern High School. He 4th all-time in program history with the time he turned in, but that time was also good for a B standard. Same with his teammate Bryce Salgett. So Salgett is 5th all-time in program history, finished like 0.1 meters or 0.1 seconds behind.
It was close. It was real close.
Yeah. It was like, man, that's got to be tough for Salgett, but great for those two to feed off each other, considering they're both freshmen and already punched their ticket in their first season of competition. So great job by those two. And then the last one, Evan Gaylor. I think that's the most impressive one, considering what he's been through in his collegiate athletic career. Missed all of the 2020 I guess it would be 2023-2024 school year due to injury after he injured himself early in the indoor season last year. So to see him come back and notch a B standard, finish 2nd, right, or I believe 3rd, right in front of teammate Gabe Wedmore with the B standard over there at IWU and shot, but he punched his ticket. So man, we're stacking them. We only had, I think, was it 3 athletes before this weekend, I think, with Gabe Wedmore, Sydney Duncan, and Maddie Dotlich, I believe, were our only 3 qualifiers before this week. And now, man, we doubled it. So. Yeah. Unbelievable weekend by our indoor track and field squad. So shout outs to Josh Colvin, Jordan Fivecoat, Nolan Talley, Julian Wallace, and Grant Gaylor. Coaching staff is tremendous. And yeah, great things to be expected for the rest of the year as well.
I want to say shout out to you because you were able to rattle that off like you knew it, like it's right in front of you, but you're just going off the top of your dome and realizing, oh, I wrote about this and I saw this on Instagram and bam, it's right here for everybody else to hear. So shout out to you for getting all that stuff out as smoothly as you did.
Man, I was running short on breath there for a second, Jay, but a lot of it is a big shout out to Josh. I always look forward to getting the weekend recaps from him. They're longer recaps, especially when we're competing in 2 meets in 1 weekend. Got our recap Sunday, churn the articles out Monday, and learn a lot about this. TFRS is a great resource. TFRRS is a big time resource for track and field. Those interested in track and field, you can learn who's all qualified in the NAI and stuff like that. So I've been using that as a big resource as well.
Speaking of big things happening at IUK on the track and field side, I believe there's still more time for these athletes to punch their ticket
Correct.
to the indoor national meet. How many more meets are there for them to qualify for that meet?
As far as I'm aware, sometimes we add meets if we're looking to add a couple
Yeah.
student athletes with a chance to qualify. Last time I talked to Josh and what's on our online schedule, we are just competing this weekend at the Fairgrounds Invitational, which is a brand new invitational held at the Indiana State Fairgrounds, state-of-the-art facility.
Oh, so it's close.
Yeah.
So people can drive and make that meet.
Yeah,
if they want to attend.
it will be a high-level meet. Plenty of teams from throughout Indiana.
Yeah.
UND, I'm sure, will be there. It's a bank track. If you're running on a bank track, it's going to be a high-level meet. Haven't competed on a bank track since they competed at Indiana University.
Okay.
Right before Christmas. So it'll be a new experience for them. It'll be an awesome experience for them, and it'll be against high-level competition.
Yeah.
But this weekend is not the last opportunity. Conference is in 2 weekends, and that will be the last opportunity for them to punch their ticket with an A or B standard to indoor nationals at the end of the month.
And for those people that have been here for quite a while, I still believe we're lining things up to get athletes in here that have qualified for the national meet, to have them come here on the show. It will not be Grant. It'll be some athletes here talking about what it means for them to qualify in the event. And we get some stories whenever these athletes are on here. So I'm just going to tell you to buckle up, get ready, put your seatbelt on pretty tight, because those stories might hit you a little bit from the right, a little bit from the left, and you just never know what's going to come up. Nothing crazy, nothing too off the wall.
Great group of student athletes. Yeah. And Josh got a hold of me last night just to confirm I'm actually going to treat myself. Finally have a bit of time off that week. I'm going to take myself to Purdue, Michigan State that night, and I'm going to let Jay and Brady here run the show with the track and field athletes. I think we'll set that up February 18th, Jay.
Sounds good to me. Speaking of running the show and putting on a show, the baseball team over the weekend, they had their first series of the season. They won the game number 2 in a 4-game series. Unfortunately, that was the only game that they won.
Yeah.
But that win was a massive one, an 18-5 win. That is a great way to boost morale going into the next series this upcoming weekend.
Yeah. A 1-3 opening weekend is far from the end of the road. Last year it happened the same at Truett McConnell opening weekend, and we still panned out just fine. Had a chance at the end of the season to we were right there knocking on the doorstep of an NAIA tournament bid, the first in program history. So Coach Jeremy Honecker will look to do the same with this year's squad. But it's a quick turnaround. Obviously, you're going to turn around and compete against high-level competition every week, or at least you hope. But great things. There were still some awesome things to build upon that happened last week. Coach Honecker, I'll tell you this, he's not a big fan of the long ball. We won't talk much about the long ball in this show, but there were a few long balls hit this weekend. Most importantly, there were just a couple different JUCO transfers made a big time impact. Mason Jans, can't say enough about that kid. I forget what he finished with on day one, but finished the weekend with 6 or 7 hits total, couple RBIs, I think it was 5 or 6 runs scored. So a massive weekend from the Northwest Florida State transfer. We've got a bit of a Florida flavor on this year's squad with at least 3 student athletes from the state of Florida. So Anthony Nino had a big weekend behind the dish. Really big shout out to both of our catchers that caught some innings behind the dish this weekend. Anthony Nino, and then veteran Luke Hansen. He's a senior for us. Jay, you know him well. They both gunned some runners down from behind the plate, and then also did some work at the plate. So big shout out to them. Pitching staff, they'll continue to get better. Saw some bright spots from them. Saw some areas to work on. Full faith in pitching coach Justin Reed, and the other assistant coach Luke Barnes this year. He's in his first year as an assistant coach. Really, he was last year as a volunteer assistant, but looking to help out more. This weekend, though, Jay, I
said the series, and I know they're playing 4 games, I think against 4 separate teams.
Yeah,
so
4 separate teams.
Forgive me for the slip of the tongue, but that's even harder when you're going up against 4 separate teams in 2 days.
You can consider that a series for sure, but this is the granddaddy of them all, if you will. This is big shout out to NAIA Ball and what they do. NAIA Ball is an independently run organization, really by SIDs or former SIDs like myself, and just people who have a love for NAIA baseball. They've really built a brand on social media with NAIA Ball. This is their 2nd or 3rd year of putting on this tournament. We're going to head down to Louisiana we'll begin play this Friday. We'll compete in the Cajun Collision, 2025 Cajun Collision held in Sterlington, Louisiana. So we've got a hike ahead of us this week, Jay. I'm gonna head with the baseball team south about 13 and a half hours. But it should be awesome. We're gonna play 1 ranked opponent in Central Methodist University, and then 3 stout opponents who are consistently good from the south. And anytime you get a chance to go south, especially that far south, and compete against teams from the south who have been outdoors pretty much all season, you know, whereas we've only been outside. We were outside a couple days last week, probably They were definitely going to be outside yesterday with how nice it was, or how nice it was on Monday of this week. But the rest of this week, they're not getting any time outdoors. So we're already the underdogs, if you will, and I kind of like that. Going in with a chip on your shoulder, one of the biggest tournaments there is in NAIA baseball, and honestly the biggest tournament. So massive weekend to right this ship, and not that the ship's not righted. You just went 1-3 on opening weekend. You got your feet wet against a solid Cumberland squad that's won 3 national championships all time. What else can you ask for? We'll be fine. Not worried about a thing.
They will be fine. And what will be fine for the men's basketball team is in women's basketball team, as there's only one more home game left. And that's the opportunity for both the men and women's basketball teams to celebrate the seniors on senior day. Sorry, I was having trouble speaking last week. I thought it'd be better this week. Having a little trouble here,
that was the first blue.
The first one. I'll take that one. But senior day is always fun. It's always fun to recognize the athletes that have put in the work. Some are transfers.
Yeah.
Some have been there for 4, maybe 5 years. But it's always fun to see them get celebrated for their accomplishments during their collegiate careers.
Yeah, we will honor a 5-year student athlete and Anna Kaiser on the women's side. Multiple 4-year student athletes. Noah Harris comes to mind. Chris Chin is actually a 5th-year student athlete here at IU Kokomo. So plenty of seniors, plenty of different flavor. Most of them are from Indiana, the state of Indiana. So I love that we're able to recruit the state of Indiana so well, especially Marion County.
Yeah.
Coach Eric Eckelbarger, and I'm sure Lisa Pfluger will target that. She's only in her first year here, but they do a great job of that. And yeah, only one basketball game left. It's pretty insane. But February 15th, make your way out to the Student Activities and Events Center. We'll battle Brescia. That is a game where both of our squads lost on the road at Brescia this year.
Wow.
We will need your support, and obviously we want your support there to honor our senior classes that have done so much for our programs in their time here.
Man, well, that was a fun little show. The words were flowing a little bit better for me today. Did we miss anything?
Definitely were. No, I don't think so, Jay. I mean, seems like this show went pretty quick, but I think we covered all we needed to. I'm excited to get on the road. I'm going to knock one of my 50 states off. I've never been to the state of Louisiana.
Ooh.
So gonna do that for the first time this weekend. I'm not excited about the road trip, but love spending time with our student athletes and our coaching staffs. That's my favorite part of my job, is building relationships with our student athletes, with the coaches we have, and just serve as an asset to them to make sure that their time here at IU Kokomo is the best that it can possibly be. And taking them on a trip to compete in the best NAI regular season tournament there is one way of doing that. So excited to head to Louisiana, help out LSU Shreveport. I'm going to be statting some baseball games this weekend, so get to knock the rust off. I'm super geeked for that. And yeah.
You have to tell us about the good food you eat while you're down there.
Man, so their assistant AD of operations at LSU Shreveport, which is the host school, is he is in Alexa's role. As you guys know, Alexa Roberts, who was on the show last week, he is in Alexa's role, but he is an IU Southeast alum. So I know him pretty well. He was a coach at IU Southeast and got a hold of me. He was like, hey, if you're coming down, I'll feed you. I'll take care of you. So shout out to Kyle Hawkins at LSU Shreveport. Going to feed me well. I'm sure he will while I'm helping them out statin. So looking forward to the trip to Louisiana.
Man, it's going to be fun for you. Yes. Super Bowl weekend too, so that's
the
another
one thing.
reason
I'm hoping that we're gonna take the brunt of the drive on Sunday on the way home, so we'll probably be getting home right around kickoff. But either way, I honestly do not care one bit who wins this weekend, because I do not like the Chiefs, I do not like the Eagles, but I do love me some Andy Reid, so I will go with the Chiefs.
I'll go with the Eagles. I don't want to go with him. I want to go a little bit different. I also like Saquon Barkley. I like Jalen Hurts.
I do like those two, but Nick Sirianni cancels it out for me.
See, I try to forget that he's the head man over
That's
there
fair.
for that franchise. We're up out of here, y'all. My Super Bowl pick is the Eagles. His is the Chiefs. Brady, what's yours? He said the Chiefs, unfortunately. But unfortunately, also, we're up out of here today. This is Grant Patterson. He's the SID or Assistant AD at IUK. And this has been the Cougar Cast. We'll see you next time.